Thanks. Perfect. So quickly, I'll just hand you mine. We're just going to go through, say hi, where everyone's coming from, give you a little background, and then we'll sort of jump into the content. So would you like to start?
Yes, hi. So I'm Ioana. I'm the data team lead at Hivebrite. Hivebrite is a community management platform. So basically, we have a product that empowers companies like Harvard, Obama Foundation, or WWF to handle their communities. We do event management, memberships, and basically all customer needs to have thriving communities.
My name is Jean. I'm a product director at Ogury. Ogury is an ad tech company, so we are buying some digital ad placement and we are selling digital ad placement to media agencies or advertisers directly, trying to target their user without leveraging some personal user IDs. So we use different kind of tools to be able to accurately target users without being too much, breaching too much their data privacy. And I'm working as a product director with a team of data analytics, a team of data engineers, and a team of data scientists in most of the optimization and analytics stuff in this company.
Hi everyone, I am Taha. I work for Brevo, which is a global CRM. This is a leading CRM in Europe, actually. We automate marketing campaign. We send transactional emails, SMS, WhatsApp, you name it. We also have a CRM deal product where you can follow your leads, your opportunities, and like Salesforce, but way simpler. Yeah, that's it. We are 1,000 employees, and we just became a unicorn. Yay!
Perfect. We'll also save some time at the end if folks have questions, or I can keep asking. But a lot of the conversation today has been about people consuming data internally, so for their own company. All three of you have built external-facing data products. Could you walk us through a little bit the story of how you thought about building that, sort of why, what you considered? Just a quick sort of story of how you got where you are.
Okay, again, in Hivebrite, if we go a few years back now, we had in our product for our clients a very outdated analytics. And when I say outdated, no filters, static. Whenever we wanted to add a graph, it was a pain and it was very expensive. And basically our administrators, which were the community managers, were blind about what happens in the community, what they need to do. It was very, very scarce. So we needed to build a new module, and we knew that we need to build a module that is robust, that will be valuable a few years from the moment, and also that had some features such as multi-tenancy, permissions, data segregation between one client to the other. So we had to face the decision, build or buy. I think everybody had faced this once. And we decided that we wanted to buy a tool for the future so that the tool will bring us the features that are, let's call them technical reporting. And then we, on our Hivebrite side, we just focus on what we need to bring, what data we need to bring, what dashboards, and what will be the user experience rather than focusing on building the basics.
In our cases, the use case on which we build embedded analytics for Omni is that we are building a platform that will enable any of our customers to connect and to pilot their campaign directly from this platform. And for this, we need to bring them access to the data to cover the gap in terms of transparency and trust. So we need to give them all the actionable data they need to pilot their campaign, mainly the main KPI, so the number of clicks, the number of video views, the number of impressions done, what is the revenue generated from this campaign. And for this, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to use something top of the shelf, which will manage all the permission, all the question of access, and which is going to be quite close with what we are using internally. So we wanted to have something close to what we've got internally, but maybe sometimes more accurate. So this is why we decided to go with Omni, because it gives us the good level of control and the good level of being able to do some stuff on our own.
And for our part, like how it all started, basically we have that product, Brevo, which like enterprise uses, and some big clients have like hundreds of sub-accounts in Brevo, and they have a lot of different like specific use cases they had. And in order to like win some big deals for like very big clients in France, they were like, okay, we're gonna sign with you, but we want some super sophisticated, customized dashboard with it. And I'm like, okay, we'll do it, no worries. So we bought Looker back then, and we started to embed some customized dashboard for them. So okay, there you have your dashboard. It's aggregated, all of your sub-account data is inside. It was working well. We had more and more requests, so whenever you give them something customized, they want more and they want more. And because we truly believe in the self-service capabilities and the self-service power for user, we decided to go with it as well. So we had it internally, a full self-service platform with Omni, and we were like, okay, we want our customer to have the same experience as we do, and be able to build this customized dashboard themselves. We don't want to spend time, like to waste time building customized stuff like every day. They need to do it, and we focus on the modeling. So that was the idea. In a year, we onboarded like 100 enterprise clients into the add-on, which is an add-on. Yeah, that was the idea.
Amazing. So now we'll ping pong around a little bit, but Jean, how have you thought about the difference in sort of permissions and data structure for the embedded use case versus sort of internal? Like, how are you sort of, I guess, what was important when you were building that out?
I think in our cases, what was really difficult was to build all the data governance for the internal use case. For the embedded use case, we started from what we wanted to expose, so we built the data model, and then we expose this. The thing which is way more challenging, and this is why this is one of my main job at this time, is to ensure that everyone in the company have access to the data, and this is the question of data governance. Not for the embedded use case, but for the internal use case, because we've got like 10 different teams working independently on silos on different environments on producing their own data. And then they are putting everything in the data warehouse. And then whenever there is someone that needs to do an analysis, he doesn't know where is the table he should be using or not. So we are focusing on trying to standardize every access, and it can be really stupid things that using the same naming convention. When you have a date, do you know if it's a date UTC or in a date of local time zone? So all this stuff is done by one of my team to be sure that we align everything, that we are implementing data contracts from both producer and consumer via the engineer to ensure that we use, for instance, the same cases for all the terms we are putting in our Kafka stream to ensure that someone is not going to call web on another web domain or this kind of stuff. So it's lots of work. It was way easier for the data, for the embedding analytics use cases, but for the internal use cases, it's quite complicated. And this is what we are doing at this moment, trying to enforce some data contracts, some reporting layer with fact table, dimension table we are rebuilding, because the end goal is to give access to the user to this data. And when you have 1,000 tables and you don't know how to join them, what are the keys to join them, and how to filter, it's going to be extremely complicated. And this is why I'm really a big fan of the notion of topic at Omni, because I'm not a big fan of self-serve. We tried self-serve. We use a metabase based on Redshift and self-serve, and it was a nightmare to maintain because everyone was doing what they want, the join they want, so the performances are really low, and everyone was complaining about the data. So we needed to better control the data, and this is why there is this notion of topic, which I think is really great, because this is a kind of, you let the control to someone in an environment which is curated by some people that know the data, and they know that this is this data source you should be using. And when you build it, we are also building a list of SLIs in terms of latencies, and also in terms of accuracy. We are sure that whenever we've got some processing, the processing is working well, the data from one source on the other one is accurate. And when we build this topic with all this check, we know that we can let the user use this topic and do what they want. They can do this kind of self-serve within the topic. And this is something which is extremely powerful for us, because we give this ability to use the data without having a profound knowledge of the data. And I'm pretty sure that when we will bring this AI stuff on this, it will work way better, because they will just need to use natural language. And this is something we are going to try on our internal BI and then to expose to external customers.
So that's a great segue. I know, Taha, you've started exposing a lot of natural language out. Can you just walk us through how you got there and sort of how you started, how that evolved, and sort of how you're thinking about it moving forward, if you're going to change anything, or sort of what you've learned as you've done it?
Yeah, sure. So when we decided to go with Omni, there was no really a target into using AI with Omni. Like, it was more about the semantic layer, the self-service, the Excel-like formulas that are really amazing. And when I started to use the actual AI Bloby assistant, I was like, damn, it works well, but why? And then I remembered last year, this very forward data conference, the VP AI of Cube, David, I think it's called, he made a presentation and he explained why AI, like text to SQL is never going to work as you expect it, but text to semantic layer can be super powerful, because the semantic layer gives the LLM just a limited number of possibilities to select from. Like, you have 10 dimensions, 5 metrics, and you can only make like a limited number of combination of those. So you cannot really build something that doesn't make sense, or a SQL query that would not compile or whatever. So the fact that you limit the input makes the LLM just take the best decision, because he has the metrics, it has the definition, and he can just deduct what he should use based on the metadata, the definition you give it. So I clicked and I was, okay, that's why it works so well. But then we need to make it work even better by adding like more definition, more AI context, and so on. So internally, we iterated a lot. We've built like 70 topics, 75 topics that are all with a super strong AI context. Like, it's a big prompt that we went over, we iterated a lot to be sure it answers what we need. And then when we were like, okay, this is really great. Like, it saves a lot of time. People arrived on the topic, they see dozens of fields, they don't know what it is, and they don't have to know all of them by heart. They can just ask a question. So yeah, just give me the revenue by country. Well, that like the experience we had, we thought, okay, we need to give the same experience to our clients. Like, they're gonna love this. They're gonna love this. At the same time, there was this transverse initiative at Brevo to give more, to create more value with AI through the product. So we created this AI agent. It's called Aura in Brevo, and it can actually help you use Brevo, like build your campaign or segment your contact or whatever. It can help you use the actual tool. It makes sense to also enable this tool to be like to answer data question from the client. If the client wants to know, okay, what is my best marketing campaign this year, and he should get answer from the data, from the analytics. And that's when the MCP server from Omni made the big difference. We could combine, harmonize the data that is shown through Omni in the embedded version of Omni on Brevo, and the AI agent we had internally. So it answers based on the semantic layer from Omni. And this is big step for having one single smart AI agent that knows your context, knows your business, and can answer, can do basically anything you ask it. And we are seeing a very strong adoption from our client on the AI part. That's mostly, they use mostly AI. They don't really, I think the numbers are we had 400 active clients, and out of them, only 5% never used AI, something like that. And some 25% only used AI, only ask questions to either the dashboard, they're chatting with the dashboard, or they're chatting with the AI bot, or they're asking questions within a topic. But they just never click themselves the dimension of the measure. They love it.
Yeah, personally, I think I was actually extremely skeptical of the AI stuff for data as it was happening. And it was actually a handful of our customers that started implementing it for Embed that convinced us to go try to do it. And I think since I'm probably 90% natural language now, just because I'm too lazy to click around. You don't have to navigate or find things. You can just sort of ask. Even if it's not perfect, you can refine it. So it's been very surprising.
And that's something we all used to do now. When you have a complicated subject and you want a quick answer, you just open ChatGPT or whatever and you give it the context of what you want, and you can verify the sources, everything, of course. You don't take everything for granted, but we all used to do that. Okay, I have this, I just want quick answer, I don't want to think too much. So you just ask the question and you get the actual answer, and it works. And you can check the accuracy, you can check the source, you can check how does it calculate the revenue per country, by country, etc. So yeah.
So I was going to turn, I know that we haven't really talked about monetization at all and sort of how people are pricing it. Most people sort of approach reporting as a cost center, and kind of everyone starts there. I guess, how have you thought about sort of the pricing of analytics and how that folds in? I know you mentioned that you're it helped you close deals. That's always effective for convincing people for resources. But I guess, how have you started thinking about pricing and how that sort of factors into what you're building?
I will start with the disclaimer that it's still early. We're still thinking through it. We're still a cost center, but we are aiming to move from the cost center side, and I do believe that the AI features are a huge differentiator, and it will help us close the deals and upsell. So the way that we think is, like Taha was saying, and our clients or end users will want to bring their own personalization and their own dashboards, but also we have community managers who are really not data savvy, who don't know how to even explore a topic. And we do believe that having a feature where you can ask questions on your data, then save them for your own dashboard, and then bring them to your stakeholders is really, really valuable. In fact, we already have clients, the bigger ones, who already take data from our system to build dashboards elsewhere. So we aim to bring them in our ecosystem, and the AI feature, the summaries, and looking more later on, recommendations, AI-based recommendations. You should do this today because here is a forum discussion which has not been answered, and you need to nudge your end users. I don't know, this is just an example, but those kind of very high value AI-powered nudges, information, insights definitely have also a monetary value. We'll probably have packages that are that encapsulate those features. And why AI works is that it will address the small, not knowledgeable clients for whom AI and text to semantic layer, it's really game changer. We already see it internally. But also for bigger clients who will want to do more sophisticated use, bring their own data using CSVs or Excels and other functionalities that they already use elsewhere. So yeah, it's just a beginning for us, but we definitely have an approach of thinking always we want the client to have a faster time to value, so but also gain some revenue along the way.
So we've got about 5 minutes left. Was going to open it up for questions if there are any. Is there a way to see the questions that exist? Or I can just walk a mic around too. Okay.
We don't have questions on Slido yet.
Okay.
Do you guys have questions?
Yeah.
I can move around.
Just in the meantime, if someone has a question, I just wanted to rebound on the pricing and how, like, you can become, like, how a data stack can become a source of revenue instead of being a center of costs. Because when we decided to go with an embedded analytics solution, indeed it was to win a big client, but we always had in mind, okay, that can also become like, that can be a big ROI if you do it well, if we do it well. So we started to sell this add-on, like I think €500 a month. Over I think a year and a half, we achieved a 250% ROI. Yeah, so it went well, and there's not with that many clients actually, like just 100 clients. So it's yeah, I should have said nothing.
Hi, thank you. One of my questions was, when you expose data in general, you tend to add like a lot of, I would say, knowledge in what you expose that becomes implicit. For example, what you need to show to the user, how to do some aggregation, and those you tend to encode into the way you form your exposed data, your data mart or whatever you call them. What you said is like you just, like one of the cool things is you just ask and then you get the answer and you can check that it's right. Do you see people both checking that the answer they get is actually right, or do they not and just like get to rely on what is said because we are all human and lazy? And the second one is, do you have case where the data available or the way it's filtered, and those implicit filter that I was speaking about tends to raise issues because people get information but lack the knowledge or maybe the understanding of what make this answer be this one, this case, and maybe different in another way.
So the first question is about how do we make sure like user actually check the data they get, check the answers, right? Yeah, it's a good one. Well, we spend a lot of time iterating. Like we have some basic question, sample question for each data domain. We know what people are usually looking at, what they are looking for, I mean. And so we iterated a lot on the AI context so it can answer these basic questions. And then we want to, like, it's not yet in the pipe, but in the CI/CD, we want to add unit tests that these basic questions are always answered correctly. But then you also have to trust people, like, to not take everything for granted. But this is just for the exploratory mode. Like when they are building dashboard, the dashboard has to go through a vetting process where the business owner and data team have to validate the dashboard before it's published for anyone to see. So it's not like they ask a question and they see the result and they share it on Slack publicly. No. We always go through the dashboard, but it just simplified the data discovery and the building of the dashboard themselves.
Yeah, I think it's a really good question, and it depends on the data literacy of the user. To give you an example, we've got this issue. If you ask to AI the revenue per country, do we need to consider the revenue generated by the business unit per country, or the revenue generated in one country. And the AI need to be able to say, what do you want? Can you clarify your question? Because there is this kind of ambiguity. And you will have always question regarding this ambiguity of data. And if people don't have a good understanding on the data, on the way it's processed, you will always have this question. So this is why you need to have an AI which is quite transparent about which are the columns, the dimension you are using. Otherwise, you will always have this question. And this is why it's important, and I don't believe we will get rid of the analyst. The role of the analyst is going to change. It's going to be able to build all this data model and to be sure that whenever you have this kind of question, it make it apparent the choice of the AI. Otherwise, you will still have discrepancy and still inconsistency in the data.
Not really. For me, it was start small also, but because I'm sure we'll have end users that will do click and will take the data for granted, but start small and test out internally. But that's it for me.
No, thank you guys for joining me on the panel. So appreciate it. And thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.